Hello and welcome to my Doctor Who review of the final episode of Series 7, The Name of the Doctor. It is starring Jenna Louise Coleman and Matt Smith as the Doctor. Not spoiling anything, but is it just starring Matt Smith as the Doctor? We shall find out in this review. Before I start, I just want to say I do apologise for not uploading and editing videos at a decent speed. I've just been really busy with work on my final show for my college acting course, but enough about that. Right, we shall start. I'm also filming this on my new iPad, by the way, so this is the first video filmed on this iPad. Ta-da! So, we'll start with good points. The first good point is, holy shit, William Hartnell. That is what I've written down. Because we get to see William Hartnell in colour, which is good. We see the first Doctor on Gallifrey leaving for the TARDIS, basically, which is a really nice scene. It's very short, and obviously it's kind of archive footage edited in, but it's really good, really good, and it's amazing to see all the old Doctors. I think it's quite the scene itself, the opening scene, which is also repeated later on in the episode, is a brilliant scene. I think it's the best scene ever, because if you're a Doctor Who fan who loves every single Doctor, then this is just mind explosion for you, basically. It just made me go wow, like literally just stare at the screen and go wow. The Whispermen are cool, creepy and awesome creatures. I'm not quite sure if they're part of the Great Intelligence or not. I'm assuming they are. They weren't really explained to be or not to be. But I'm just going to go with that. They have I like the Whispermen rhymes and stuff like that. I think they're quite interesting. Moving on. Strax is generally hilarious. He's hilarious in most of the things. It is a bit annoying because he's meant to be a Sontaran, but I'll give him it for this episode because, yeah. Basically, the Whispermen are brilliant creatures. They look a bit like the Trickster from Sarah Jane Adventures, who hasn't really been in Doctor Who, although technically the Doctor's seen him. He's also a villain I would have liked to have seen in Doctor Who, I think. Yeah. Because he kind of looks like the Whispermen, so it would have been a bit cooler if he was something to do with them, or something to do with the Great Intelligence, but obviously not. Moving on. It's interesting that the Doctor's grave is on Tanzalor, and all the other graves are basically people who've fought over his basically grave kind of thing, or protecting his grave, or kind of a war that was before his burial. I'm not quite sure. That wasn't really explained, but it's good. Valyard reference. There is a Valyard reference. Dr. Simone, or the Great Intelligence, kind of says a lot about the Doctor, saying he's the Doctor, but he's had horrible names such as the Oncoming Storm, and then he mentions the Valyard, which is good because the Valyard is technically a plot line that has been going since the 6th Doctor, so it kind of needed to be brought up at some point. I think it's good that they got around the revealing of his name. They did it very well as well. like River Song technically isn't there, or is there. Technically she's just psychically linked with Clara, so she's not actually present. She's just psychically there with Clara, and she says the name of the Doctor, but we don't hear it because nobody hears it barring Clara, and later the Doctor, because the Doctor actually has heard her. Which begs the question, did Clara actually hear what the Doctor's name is? Maybe, maybe not. That is a speculation. References to the old Doctors is really good. I like all the references and the visual kind of visually seeing them walking past and things like that. Fair enough, some of it is obviously kind of edited in, but it's good. It's good that it's there. It's quite nice to know that they haven't forgot about the 50 years of Doctor Who. Richard E. Grant, who plays the Great Intelligence, has a great performance. He's deliciously evil, but he kind of perished at the end, and we don't really know what happened to him. Maybe this is more speculation. I'm probably going to put this under somewhere in the screen. Maybe this is how he becomes the Yeti kind of Great Intelligence, because he never really had a body or form. But maybe it is because he jumped into the Doctor's time stream and was destroyed, that somehow he got out and became those little orb things that roll around and became Yeti things and opposed the second Doctor, sorry. I think that would actually be quite a nice way to explain why the Great Intelligence is so different in the second Doctor's era, when they were just Yeti and little orbs and kind of mind controlling creepy stuff. So that's my bit of speculation on how that is explained. So maybe that is it. Then we get to see at the very end of the episode, if you're not wanting to be spoilt what the end of the episode is, please just kind of switch off now or skip ahead, maybe. I don't know. I'll just go away now, because I'm probably going to mention it a lot. So, John Hurt appears at the very end as the Doctor, and it even says on the screen, introducing John Hurt as the Doctor, meaning he is either the 12th or 13th incarnation of the Doctor. Or is he the Valeyard? Either way, it's kind of suggested that he's the Valeyard. This is more speculation. I'm just going to keep this speculation thing at the bottom of the screen when I edit this. Is he the Valeyard? If we look back at the 6th Doctor, Trial of the Time Lord, he doesn't seem to be acting like that person who he is in Trial of the Time Lord. Not as evil. So I don't quite know if he is the Valeyard or if he isn't. But it's kind of suggested by the way the Doctor talks about how his name is now the Doctor because he gave it to himself. But this person abused that and chose a different path. And that would suggest that he chose the name the Valeyard instead and changed from the Doctor to the Valeyard. With that said, could it just be the Doctor? Like another incarnation of the Doctor after the Valeyard? Or maybe the Valeyard is someone else completely? But I'm not going to just take in the account that that the Valeyard doesn't exist, because I think he obviously does, since he appeared in the 6th Doctor, Trial of the Time Lord. But having said that, I do understand that there might not be they would not be able to possibly bring back the actor who played the Valeyard previously, so appearances isn't everything. It's just the way that Valeyard acted, and John Hurt as the Doctor or the Valeyard, we're not quite certain, even though the Doctor came up when it said introducing John Hurt as the Doctor. It's just not really that explained, but it's just speculation that I think they're hinting at the Valeyard a lot, which is quite good, I think. So that is all my good points. This is quite a long video because I'm speculating as well. Moving on to bad points. The Transstream thing that somehow brings everyone into one place to be sitting at a table to discuss things. It seems a bit naff. It seems like it doesn't really make sense at all. It's not even technology, or I know there's been episodes like Silver Nemesis where someone's been able to travel through time in magic, but technically magic is science in Doctor Who in a weird way, or magic is science that isn't explained. But I don't think that doesn't make sense, that some scented thing brings you in a dream that travels you through time so you can communicate together. Unless it doesn't really make sense. So yeah. Another point is Riversong's timeline seems to be a load of rubbish. It doesn't really make sense. It just creates more plot holes than it does anything else. It's like she said like, even if Clara is dead or gone, then how am I here? How am I still like visually here to the Doctor? And then she explains spoilers before disappearing. And she's also somehow got out of the library as a kind of ghost psychic vision thing, which I don't really understand how that happened, but I don't know. The thing is, the problem with Riversong is because of we don't know when or what her timeline is. It's just a bit difficult to really get that. There is a lot of plot holes that aren't explained or answered that I expected were going to be explained in this episode. Yes, the episode was a bit short. Well, it wasn't short, but it was like, if it was longer, maybe they would have maybe there would be more time to explain things or do things. But they just things that weren't explained, like for example, silence hasn't really fallen, has it? Has it? See, I don't know. What were the cracks in time? They were never explained. These are two plot holes that I really want to know about. Silence has never fallen. What is silence? What does it mean? Which I thought was going to be explained on the Fields of Tanzalor. It just seemed like it was going to be, since it was the end of Series 6, where Dorian actually basically said, "You'll find out on the Fields of Tanzalor," kind of thing. A little speech at the end. I expected that we would at least get what silence was. This is speculation again. Unless silence is basically the Doctor's death, which would explain that silence is basically the little time rift. And here's another bit of speculation. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of the screen. Technically, you don't see the Doctor's body. He doesn't die, and he did say that bodies were boring. He didn't say that he wasn't dead, but he said bodies were boring, and that his whole timeline of him is just basically in the TARDIS, which this is a bad point, which I don't really. It doesn't really make sense to me why that would be there, and that isn't explained why it's there, but still. You're not quite certain if the Doctor is actually dead at this point, because he just says that bodies are boring, meaning that there isn't a body. Give me a body, damn it! So the Doctor potentially might not be dead at this point in time. if you get me, if you're still following and watching this episode, this long, very long review, which is becoming more speculation than review. And the cracks in time still haven't been explained. I don't know what happened or why the TARDIS blew up in the first place, or didn't blow up, since it never happened. It's just something that was never really explained. You could actually just say that maybe it was an aftermath of the end of time, or something like that. Maybe because the Time Lords were destroyed, and that whole they're forcing Gallifrey through time may have created the cracks, which basically became worse and worse and worse through Series 5. But that's just me, again, speculating. I'm just going to leave speculate at the bottom of the screen. I really am. A final note, it seemed a bit anticlimactic, considering we thought all this was going to be explained. Everything that was explained, like Clara, like the whole Clara's plot line, like who is Clara, it was a bit anticlimactic. I was expecting more from that. Yes, I didn't really want to know what the Doctor's name was, so I wasn't really I didn't want that to happen, and it didn't happen, which I'm happy about. But I wanted to know. I think the Clara explanation, well, it obviously was a decent explanation, but it was anticlimactic compared to, I was expecting more from it, really. Now we come to the rating of the episode. It was hard to really rate it because although there isn't really that many bad points, it wasn't as good as I expected it to be. But having said that, I enjoyed it, and it was really good, and I loved all the references to all the old Doctors and all that interesting Valyard possibilities, and John Hurt appearing as the Doctor at the very end. Yes, I've spoiled it again, never mind. But it just, I just don't know. There was something missing, and I'm not sure what, but there was just something missing. I think it was good. It was just the Clara thing. I expected it to be better. That's the plot line. I expected it to be better, and I wanted the plot holes to be explained from Series 5 and 6, and I think I was wanting that much that I just got a little bit disappointed. Having said that, I really, really enjoyed it. I struggled to choose a rating between 7, 8 and 9, so I went in the middle of that and just went 8 out of 10, so it is 8 out of 10. So yeah, it's arguably the second best episode of the series, barring Cold War, because I like Cold War the best. Thank you for watching this. I don't know when this will be uploaded, and God forbid it's going to be annoying to upload because it's going to be really long. I apologise for all the speculation. If you enjoy all my speculation, then I might try and make a speculation video for for the 50th anniversary, which I will return to review. Until then, I have my my top 10 best and worst Doctor Who stories to continue to review from, and then we'll just see. Hopefully I'll get that done before the 50th anniversary. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review / speculation video, because I know I've dragged on a lot. Thank you and goodbye.